standing here on the parking lot.
Thank God I've still got my hair. Well, what on earth is this thing I'm wearing?
Wow, this is a radiation suit.
Radiation suit?
This is the part coming up, Doc.
No. This sucker's electrical. But I need a nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity.
What did I just say?
The flux capacitor stores. This sucker's electrical. But I need a nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity.
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts! Great Scott!
What the hell is a gigawatt?
How could I have been so careless? 1.21 gigawatts? Tom, how am I going to generate that kind of power? It can't be done, can it?
Look at this. Look what you wrote here, Doc. I mean, that says it all. Doc, you're my only hope.
Marty, I'm sorry, but the only power source capable of generating 1.21 gigawatts of electricity is a bolt of lightning.
What did you say?
A bolt of lightning. Unfortunately, you never know when or where it's ever going to strike.
We do now.
This is it. This is the answer. It says here that a bolt of lightning is going to strike the clock tower at precisely 10:04 p.m. next Saturday night. If we could somehow harness this lightning, channel it into the flux capacitor, it just might work. Next Saturday night, we're sending you back to the future.
I need a nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity.
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts! Great Scott!
Electricity, the raw force of nature, has long been seen as a bridge between dimensions, a catalyst for time travel and interdimensional passage. In myth, lightning is the weapon of gods. In science fiction, it powers time machines and rips open portals. In Back to the Future, a single lightning bolt delivers 1.21 gigawatts, tearing through space-time to send a car across Eris. While real lightning rarely reaches such energy levels, the symbolism remains potent. The idea of using a burst of electricity to trigger temporal or dimensional shifts resonates both culturally and symbolically. But what if such immense power wasn't just fiction? Could ancient structures like the Great Pyramid have served as massive energy devices capable of harnessing or even producing such forces? Theoretically, if the Great Pyramid was more than just a tomb, as proposed in various alternative theories, it might have functioned as an advanced energy collector or generator. Could it have produced or amplified something close to 1.21 gigawatts? Let's break it down. 1.21 gigawatts equals 1,210,000,000 watts. This is an enormous amount of power, but it's not impossible, at least in short bursts. A single lightning strike can release between 1 and 10 billion joules, watt-seconds of energy in less than a second. That means the instantaneous power of a lightning bolt can reach from 1 to over 10 gigawatts, briefly exceeding the iconic 1.21 gigawatts used in the movie. While it's fleeting, it proves that nature can momentarily deliver this scale of energy. So, could a system like the Great Pyramid capture, store, and release such energy? Some researchers, such as Christopher Dunn, propose that the pyramid's internal structure, including its granite chambers and quartz content, could exhibit piezoelectric effects. This means they might convert mechanical pressure or vibration into electrical energy. If water flowed beneath the pyramid and interacted with the structure's materials, a resonance chamber could be created, amplifying vibrational frequencies naturally present in Earth's environment. Combine this with atmospheric electricity or repeated lightning strikes, and you could, in theory, generate brief but massive energy surges, possibly powerful enough to open a Stargate or dimensional rift, at least from an energy standpoint.
For decades, teams of scientists and researchers of many backgrounds have been studying what one could call the pyramidal effect, a measurable disturbance in the energy field surrounding a pyramidal structure. Some researchers have concluded that the shape of the pyramid causes the surrounding subtle energies to resonate with the frequency of the Earth's magnetic field, creating an amplified field of energy around the pyramid with healing properties for all within it. 3,000 years ago, the Chinese called this healing energy qi, and the Hindus called it prana. In the 19th century, Helena Blavatsky called it astral light, and Wilhelm Reich called it orgone. Today, many people call this quantum energy, an energy which is said to be the source of all physical matter that exists, a subtle energy that appears to amass in the space of a pyramid structure. Researchers have observed accelerated plant growth within simple pyramid-shaped structures. People have used this energy for food preservation by storing perishables in a pyramidal structure, which has been shown to slow down food spoilage. Studies have shown that housing rats in a pyramid reduced oxidative stress. Scientist and former defense contractor Alexander Golod has been studying this pyramidal effect. He held an experiment where prisoners were fed pyramid-treated table salt, which reportedly resulted in a significant decrease of violence. And he has built several pyramids in Russia for people to sit inside of and experience the effects. Russian and German physicists learned that the pyramid's dimensions, its inner chambers, and the limestone substrate it sits upon scatters the surrounding electromagnetic energy, concentrates it within the inner chambers, and forces them into the ground beneath. It has been found that a pyramidal shape can cause quantum dots to emit polarized light, which is light that vibrates in only one direction. Standing over 220 meters high, the Pyramid of the Sun in Bosnia is the tallest pyramid in the world. It has the typical pyramid geometry and is coated by rectangular blocks of concrete, superior to modern concrete, and made of the local clay. In 2010, physicists were able to measure a constant beam of energy shooting up through the top of the pyramid, 4.5 meters wide. In 2011, experts in ultrasound measured an electromagnetic frequency of 28 kilohertz at the top of the pyramid. Several researchers have verified this, and computer simulations reveal that, in its current state, the pyramid is generating its own electromagnetic signature, distinctly different than the Earth and its surroundings, its own field of energy. The pyramids in Bosnia appear to be the biggest ones we know of. Like the Giza Plateau in Egypt, there are 3 of them. They are aligned with true north, and yet the mainstream narrative denies their existence and ignores decades of research. The Bosnian pyramids are covered with dirt and vegetation that, according to the Federal Institute of Pedology, is over 12,000 years old. A web of internal tunnels and chambers were found using radar, and several have since been excavated. These tunnels appear to have been deliberately filled in over 4,000 years ago. Once excavated, strange things were found. The runic alphabet, which we are told originated in the 2nd century among Germanic peoples in Northern Europe and Scandinavia, was found carved into rocks inside the excavated tunnels. And several man-made ceramic megaliths were found, up to 8 tons in size, mounted securely in place directly above a water source. The one shown here has the same topography as the surface above. The Bosnian pyramids are denied. The Chinese pyramids are being hidden beneath new tree growth. And official authorities tell us the Egyptian pyramids are tombs for pharaohs, even though no mummy has ever been found in one. Christopher Dunn's 1998 book, The Giza Power Plant, theorizes that the Great Pyramid of Giza was an electric generator, and the purpose of the internal chambers and passages was to facilitate a chemical reaction that would produce its fuel, hydrogen gas. Studies have shown that this is quite possible. In the Great Pyramid of Khufu, there are 2 narrow shafts leading downwards into the Queen's Chamber. Within them, there are traces of hydrochloric acid and zinc chloride. Combining these 2 ingredients creates hydrogen, which would then flow upwards and pressurize the system. The inside of this system is lined with quartz-laden granite, and when pressure is applied to quartz, a piezoelectric charge is created. The upper level of the Great Pyramid was somehow structured to be tuned to an F-sharp chord, which is what the ancient Egyptians believed to be the harmonic resonance of planet Earth. And Christopher Dunn speculated that the 27 regularly spaced empty slots cut into the stone walls of the Grand Gallery were once filled with 27 banks of Helmholtz resonators that amplified the resonance inside the pressurized piezoelectric chamber. There is evidence that supports a hydrogen explosion inside of this chamber, and when robot cameras were fed into the narrow chutes to explore, at the top of each end, they found what appears to be a pair of corroded metal probes. Dunn recreated the chute and demonstrated how the 2 metal probes could be used to measure the chemical fluid levels within, which would be necessary to operate the system at optimal levels, whatever this system was. Recent SAR scans of the Giza Plateau show a massive underground complex that extends over a kilometer beneath the surface, connecting all 3 pyramids and the Sphinx. If this is some sort of ancient power plant, it is massive. Over the course of several years, Linda Moulton Howe has been investigating claims of an underground pyramid just west of Mount McKinley in Alaska. The peak of this underground black pyramid is reportedly 150 feet beneath the surface. It is as big as the Great Pyramid of Giza, and it generates enough energy to power all of Canada. Former intelligence officer Douglas Allen Muchler was stationed at Fort Richardson, Anchorage, Alaska, from 1989 to 1996, and claimed that he and his unit saw a local news broadcast about how geologists used China's underground nuclear weapons test to survey beneath the crust of the Earth, and found an underground pyramid as big as the Great Pyramid of Giza. He told Howe that this story was immediately censored following the live broadcast, and despite his high-level security clearance, he was denied access to any information on the subject. Bruce Pearson, the son of a World War II veteran, said his father told him that he was on board a classified delivery mission to the Dark Pyramid in Alaska and saw the elevator shafts and several aggressive-looking armed guards in unmarked black uniforms.
He assumed when he told my mom he was going to go on this flight with him that it was out to a dew line installation. But when he got in the chopper, the guy said, "No, this isn't dew line." He said, "This is some weird installation." And then he said, "Well, what do you mean weird?" He said, "Well, it's underground." And the co-pilot, he said, "Look, this is some generating facility or something that's underground." And he said, "Well, what's it, just a nuclear power plant?" And he said, "No, it's not nuclear. It's nothing we built. It's thousands of years old. It's cut stone like a pyramid. It's 150 feet below ground, and they can't figure out what the hell it is." He said, "Look, this is all off the record. I'm not even supposed to know this, but this is what I was told, that this thing will put out enough power to power the whole North Slope, the whole state of Alaska, and he said this thing could power the entire country of Canada. That's how much juice it puts out, and they don't have a clue where it came from, and it's underground.
According to the son of Western Electric engineer M. Johnson, in 1959, his father was recruited by the U.S. military to work on a top-secret assignment in Alaska, beneath an underground structure referred to as the Dark Pyramid.
My father had told me a lot of stories after his time in the war when he worked in Alaska. And apparently this was some top secret thing. Sometimes he called it the Dark Pyramid, and sometimes he would call it the Black Pyramid. And what he had told me about it was that he was recruited to go out there. My mom always said she had to keep it a secret. She told everybody that he was overseas. He said that he flew to Alaska and he landed in Unalakleet, and from Unalakleet they were on a military bus with blacked out windows. He wore a compass around his neck that my mom had given him, and he said that they headed from that point mostly east from Unalakleet, and they weren't supposed to know where they were going or anything. They had elevator shafts. He said they were more like mining shafts, you know, where they'd close the gate up in front of you and they'd drop you down. And once he was at the bottom, then they'd have the rooms down on the corners. Apparently, he always said they were on the corners of where this structure was. And he worked in the enclosed building. My father would always say when we'd complain about doing farm work and stuff that if we only knew what it was like working 700 feet under the ground, then we wouldn't be complaining. He knew it was pyramidal shape, and he didn't know if there was an interior to it or if it was made out of stone or whatever. All he knew was that they were using the angles of it to distribute energy. He said that the corners of the structures faced northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. And another thing that was kind of funny is when he built this house out here in 1971, he built it, and it faces the same way. He made the driveway longer and turned his house crooked. From the time I was 12, I've been working on the farm, and he had me work on an aluminum structure that he created that he could convert like a low volt into a higher voltage. The structure was aluminum. We couldn't use steel, and he was always adamant about 48-degree angle from the angle of the pyramid structure that he built, from the corner to the point. But I know that he could take a 110-volt generator and could hook it up, and it would go through a series of wires to each of the corners of it, and he would put these converted electric motors at the end of them. And when he'd run the voltage through it, he could run enough to run our entire house, the farm, everything. He said he could multiply energy. He talked about Tesla. He felt there was a way to distribute energy that would be free. He compared Tesla's work to fractals, and he also said that a pyramid shape was the perfect structure to create fractals.